Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We go to the movies on this Friday edition of Classic Radio Theater, an episode of the Screen Guild Players from 1946, 76 years ago, an episode entitled The Lost Weekend, an adaptation of the 1945 Academy Award-winning motion picture starring ray-milland and Jane Wyman in their original screen roles. And we thank you for tuning in on this Friday. This is the 7th day of January, 359 days remaining in the year. In 1608, fire destroyed Jamestown, Virginia. In 1782, the first American commercial bank opened. And in 1905, the distress signal CQD is established. It would be replaced 2 years later by SOS. In 1924, George Gershwin completed the Rhapsody in Blue, and the first transatlantic telephone call made on this date in 1927 from New York City to London. The Harlem Globetrotters played their first game on this date in 1927. In 1953, President Truman announced the U.S. had developed a hydrogen bomb. 1 year later, the Georgetown IBM experiment, the first public demonstration of a machine translation system, held in New York City at their head office, IBM, that is. The U.S. recognized the new Cuban government of Fidel Castro on this date in 1959. In 1979, Phnom Penh fell to the advancing Vietnamese troops, driving out Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. In 1990, the Leaning Tower of Pisa closed to the public due to safety concerns. It has since been reopened. In fact, it was reopened just last year. And the impeachment trial of President Clinton began on this date in 1999. Passing away on this date, football's Bronco Nagurski, actor Avery Schreiber, and singer Kitty Callan. Little things mean a lot. She lived a good long life, but what a wonderful singer. This is the birthday to President Millard Fillmore, the Alfred in the 60s Batman television show, Alan Napier, also musician Red Allen, actress Butterfly McQueen, Charles Addams, the creator of the Addams Family, quite a cartoonist, musician Paul Revere of Paul Revere and the Raiders, and Screech from Saved by the Bell, Dustin Diamond, who passed away just last year at the age of 44 from cancer. This is the birthdate of TV host Maury Povich, singer Kenny Loggins, from Buck Rogers and Silver Spoons, Aaron Gray, 72 today, from NYPD Blue and CSI Miami, David Caruso, 66, Katie Couric, 65, Nicolas Cage, 58, from The Walking Dead and Boondock Saints, Norman Reedus is 53, Big and Rich's John Rich, 48, One Republic's Ryan Tedder is 43. From The Walking Dead, Lauren Cohen is 40, as is Fantastic Beasts' Eddie Raymond. He is 40, Academy Award-winning young man. And from Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, Liam Aiken is 32. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 7th day of January as their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
In this hour of Classic Radio Theater, we're going to go back 76 years to a Monday, January 7th, 1946, an episode of the Screen Guild Players. And one of the things the Screen Guild Players did is that they were able to use these shows to get a lot of money diverted to the Screen Actors Guild and to the Motion Picture Relief Fund, which was now the Motion Picture and Television Fund. that would help people who were down and out, who needed assistance. They purchased and built the motion picture Country House, and a lot of it came from the assets, what came from shows such as the Lady Esther Screen Guild Players, which is what you're going to hear today. It was dedicated on the grounds of Country House in 1948, and a lot of people appeared on that. Buddy Rogers, Loretta Young, and it was truly something, a way of the motion picture industry at the time taking care of its own. And that was a great thing. Fees based solely on the ability to pay. So there you go. That was one of the great things that we criticize Hollywood these days, and I don't know of a better way for Hollywood to behave like the rest of us ought to be. Alrighty, then we are going to hear the Screen Guild Players today on Classic Radio Theater from 76 years ago, January 7th, 1946. Ray-Milland, Jane Wyman in their original 1945 screen roles, The Lost Weekend. I'm Wyatt Cox. You're listening to a Friday edition of Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. Thanks so much for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater here on this Friday on your favorite station. Ray-Milland is a sadly forgotten actor for much of the great work he did. He's best remembered for his Academy Award-winning portrayal of an alcoholic writer in Billy Wilder's The Lost Weekend, which we will hear today. But after that, before that, I should say, he was opposite John Wayne in Reap the Wild Wind, where John Wayne, was a corrupt character, if you will. The murder-plotting husband in Alfred Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder in 1954, and Oliver Barrett III in the 1970 Love Story. Milland was in a lot of films, and of course he did a lot of radio adaptation work as well. Of course, Jane Wyman, best remembered as being the first wife of President Ronald Reagan, long before he was president. She did receive an Academy Award, 3 Golden Globes, and nominations for 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. Of course, she won her Academy Award in Johnny Belinda. And to show you the length of her career, she was in the 1937 motion picture Public Wedding, and she was in Falcon Crest, primetime soap opera that ran for 9 years from 1988 to 1990, portraying villainous matriarch Angela Channing. Oh my gosh. She did have a wonderful life, didn't she? Channing Wyman passed away just in 2007. She was 90 years of age. Ray-Milland passing away in 1986 at the age of 79. So there you go. A little bit of backstory on the program you're going to hear today and the leading actors. Screen Guild Players, January 7th, 1946. Ray-Milland and the woman who would have been First Lady, Jane Wyman, in Lost Weekend.
Good evening. Lady Esther welcomes you to join the Screen Guild Players in another brilliant Hollywood event. Red Book Magazine's annual award to the outstanding picture of 1945. Barry Fitzgerald is here in person to make the awards. But first, the play. Lady Esther presents the Red Book selection for 1945. The Paramount picture, The Lost Weekend, starring Ray-Milland, Jane Wyman, and Frank Phelan. New York, 3rd Avenue. A warm October afternoon. Nat's Bar. A little place is almost empty. Almost, not quite.
And how is my very good friend Nat today?
Yes, Mr. Boynham?
This being an especially fine afternoon, and I having just acquired 2 lovely bottles, which you will perceive in this paper bag at my elbow, I have decided to ask for your hand in marriage.
Look, Mr. Boynham.
If that is to be your attitude, Nat, I shall have to drown my sorrows in a jigger of rye. Just one, that's all.
Sorry, Mr. Boynham. No credit.
Today, Nat, you'll be glad to know we can barter on a cash basis. You see? Legal tender.
One straight ride.
That was the idea.
Okay, it's your funeral. First one always tastes rotten, don't it? Or maybe you never like the taste.
Again.
Say, how about your brother? You told me you and him was going away for the weekend.
We were, and in fact we are, on the 645. Unfortunately, most unfortunately, my brother Wick was called away by a business matter. I just happened to remember a telephone call.
Pretty sharp. And then you duck right out and spend your train fare for liquor, huh? Taking them 2 bottles with you?
Oh, I may never touch them while I'm there. Not a drop. What you don't understand, all of you, is that I've got to know what's around. That I can have it if I need it, that's all.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys like that. Take a bottle and put it on the shelf. All they want is just to look at it. Won't even have a corkscrew, just to be sure. Only all of a sudden they grab the bottle and bite off the neck.
Nat, one more reproving word and I shall consult our lawyer about a divorce.
Let me wipe up the bar. That glass left a circle.
No, don't wipe it away, Nat. Let me have my little vicious circle. You know, the circle is the perfect geometric figure. No end, no beginning. Weave me another, Nat. Oh, come on, Nat. One little jigger of dreams.
Nope.
You don't approve of drinking?
Not the way you drink.
You're worried about me, huh? Well, don't be, Nat. Just think what it does to my mind. It tosses the sandbags overboard so the balloon can soar. Suddenly, I'm competent, supremely competent. I'm one of the great ones. I'm Michelangelo molding the beard of Moses. I'm Van Gogh painting pure sunlight. I'm Barrymore before the movies got him by the throat. I'm a hold-up man. I'm Jesse James's brothers. I'm all 3 of them. I'm W. Shakespeare. And out there, it's not 3rd Avenue any longer. It's the Nile, Nat. The Nile. And down it moves the barge of Cleopatra. Listen. Purple the sails, and so perfumed that the winds were lovesick with them. The oars were silver, which to the tune of lutes kept stroke, and made the water which they beat follow fast. Keep it up, Don. More lines and more. And more little circles on the bar. 3, 5, 8, 9. So suddenly you realize it's late. Now grab your bottles and hurry home, but don't go in yet, Don. Look up there first. Look up. All your windows dark. Wick must have gone. Sure, he'd be mad enough to go away alone. But Helen may be around. Watch out, she doesn't see you sneaking in. All right, you're in. Now lock the door. Slip the catch. So far, so good. No, wait a minute. Those bottles. You've got to hide one down. That's it, that's fine. In the ceiling light, in the metal bowl. Now set the other bottle by the chair and pull out that cork. And fill the glass. Nothing to stop you anymore, Don. Go on and drink. Drink. No one can see you. It's grown quite dark. Quite dark. Soon there won't be any light at all.
Mr. Burnham, I thought you was going away.
I'll have the usual.
Look, Mr. Burnham, this is still morning.
Forward, Nat.
Okay.
That's when you need it most in the morning. Haven't you learned that yet? At night it's a drink, in the morning it's medicine. I'll have another jigger of tonic.
How about those 2 quarts? Did you polish off both them bottles last night?
Both? Hey, that's right. I did have 2 bottles, didn't I? I hid one of them. I've still got it. I'm a capitalist, Nat. I got untapped reserves. I'm rich.
Mr. Burnham, if you had enough money, you'd kill yourself in a month. Don't make no difference to me, but it sure is tough on that girl.
What girl?
The one in the leopard coat. She was in again last night, looking for you. That's an awful high-class young lady.
You bet she is.
How the heck she ever get mixed up with a guy that sops it up like you do?
That's a problem, isn't it? That nice young man who drinks and the high-class young lady. And why does he drink and why doesn't he stop? That's my novel, Nat. Morbid stuff. Nothing but the book of the month club, a horror story, the confessions of a booze addict, the log book of an alcoholic. Oh, come on, Nat, break down. I'm empty again. You know what I'm going to call my novel? The Bottle. That's all. Very simple. The Bottle. Got it all in my mind. Let me tell you the first chapter. The man with the bottle meets a girl. Extra special girl. He meets her, makes a date, goes on the wagon for 6 weeks.
He's in love, huh?
That's what's going to be so hard to write. Love's the hardest thing in the world to write about. So simple. You've got to catch it through details. The early morning sunlight hitting the ash cans in front of our house. A ringing telephone that sounds like Beethoven's pastoral. A letter scribbled on her office stationery that smells like all the lilacs in Ohio.
And no drinking?
He thinks he's cured. If he can find a job now, they can be married, and that's that. But it isn't that. Not quite, because... Fill me up, Nat. I'll tell you why. You see, it's a few months later now, and she's written the folks all about the fella. They've come all the way from Ohio to meet him. He's supposed to be at their hotel at noon. But suddenly he's scared. He knows he can't face him. Not like that, not cold. He needs a drink, just one. And so he takes just one. And then another, and then another. Then all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and he's still there at home with his bottle.
He's drunk.
He's blind. And when the girl comes up to find out what's happened, that's how she finds him.
Don, I understand. Of course I do. You were a little nervous about meeting my folks, so you took a few drinks. What of it? Most people drink a little.
Sure. The lucky ones who can take it or leave it. But then there are the ones who can't take it and can't leave it either. Helen, what I'm trying to say is I'm not a drinker, I'm a drunk.
Darling, we can go over this tomorrow. Right now...
You've heard the facts, that's all there is to it.
I've heard them, and they're not very pleasant. But they could be worse. After all, you're not an embezzler or a murderer. You can be cured.
That has a familiar ring to it.
There must be some reason why you drink. The right doctor can...
I'm way ahead of the right doctor. I know the reason. The reason is me, what I am. Or rather, what I'm not.
What aren't you that you want to be, Don?
A writer. Silly, isn't it? Because I could be. I was. Until that guy started looking over my shoulder and whispering in a thin, clear voice like the E string on a violin. Don Burnham, he'd whisper. It's not good enough. How about a couple of drinks just to put it on its feet, huh? So I had a couple. That made all the difference. Suddenly I could see the whole thing, the tragic sweep of the great novel, beautifully proportioned. But before I could grab it and throw it down on paper, the drink would wear off and everything would be gone. And there was despair. And a drink to counterbalance despair. One to counterbalance the counterbalance, and that guy would be always at my shoulder.
What guy? Who are you talking about?
The other Don Burnham. There are two of us, you know. Don the writer and Don the drunk. I tried to break away from that other one a lot of ways. Once I even hocked my typewriter and bought a gun. Yeah, still got the bullets.
Don.
I meant to do it on my 30th birthday, but that other Don wanted us to have a drink first. He always does. The gun went for 3 quarts of whiskey. The flop suicide of a flop writer.
But you are a writer. You have every quality for it. Wit, imagination, pity.
Oh, come on, let's face reality. I'm 33. I've never done anything. I'm not doing anything. I never will do anything. 0, 0, 0.
But you will. We'll straighten all this out.
Helen, for your own good, you'd better go.
Sit down. I'm going to make some coffee.
Go on. Clear out. Clear out while you can.
Because I've got a rival? Because you think you're in love with a bottle? You don't know me, Don. I'm going to fight and fight and fight. And don't try and argue. Bend down and be kissed.
That was 3 years ago, Nat. That's a long time to keep fighting, to keep believing. A sanatorium, a health farm, a psychiatrist, nothing worked. And still she holds on. She knows she's clutching a razor, but she won't let go. 3 years of it.
Yeah, and how does it come out?
I don't know. I haven't figured that far.
Want me to tell you? Well, one day your guy gets wise to himself and gets back that gun. Or if he's only got $1.10, he goes up to the top of the Empire State Building, way up on top, and then... Or he can do it for a nickel in the subway under a train, like that.
But what if Helen's right after all? He sits down and turns out something good, but good, and that pulls him up and snaps him out of it.
This guy? Not from where I sit.
Oh, you're wrong, Nat. I'm going to do it. That's why I didn't go on that weekend. See, this time I've got it, Nat. I'm going home. I'm going to write.
The second act of The Lost Weekend, starring ray-milland, Jane Wyman, and Frank Phelan, will follow in just a moment.
The Lost Weekend, nominated for 7 Academy Awards, it did win 4 for Best Writer, Best Director, Billy Wilder, Best Actor, Ray-Milland, and Best Adapted Screenplay. and it shared the Grand Prix at the first Cannes Film Festival, making it only one of only 3 films to win both the Academy Award for Best Picture and the highest award at Cannes, the other 2 being the 1955 Marty and the 2019 film Parasite. It was added to the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress in 2011 as being culturally, historical, or aesthetically significant. I'm Wyatt Cox, Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station, Screen Guild Players' adaptation of The Lost Weekend, and the news from 1946 is next. Mike Lindell, the inveterate CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, deep discounts on all MyPillow products like the buy one, get one free special on Giza Dream Sheets. All MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Call 1-800-951-8175 or go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, use my promo code USA.
You know, if you feel like you're stuck with a health care plan you don't like, right now is a great time to switch to MediShare. They'll waive your new member fee if you join by January 15th. So that's $170 in addition to all the other savings. The typical family saves $500 or more per month. And MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate when compared to health insurance. Double. Again, join by January 15th and save even more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
You are listening to Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station, an episode of the Screen Guild Players. This is their adaptation of Lost Weekend, starring ray-milland and Jane Wyman, as it was originally broadcast Monday, January 7th, 1946. In the newspapers of that Monday, 76 years ago, these were some of the headlines. The shortage of men's clothing has become so alarming that the Civilian Production Administration has asked retailers to set aside most, and if necessarily all, their stocks for discharged servicemen. It has in mind especially suits, overcoats, shirts, and heavy underwear. It has said that such items should be reserved in substantial proportion for servicemen, and where reasonable needs cannot be met otherwise, reservations of up to 100% of such stocks for veterans is recommended. According to the Civilian Production Administration, the clothing situation should improve considerably in the next few months, but relatively good supply should not be expected before fall. For the present, the supply remains tight. It left to retailers the specific quantities and types that should be set aside. Many already are giving preference to servicemen. Veterans organizations applauded the action, but regretted it had not come sooner. Legislative Director of the American Legion, Colonel John Thomas Taylor, said that thousands of discharged veterans have been forced to continue wearing their uniforms because of the clothing shortage. The American delegation to the United Nations Congress is split as to whether to support the Moscow resolution on atomic energy, authoritative informants said Sunday. Opponents said forced revision of the resolution to further safeguard the secret of the atom bomb, according to these sources. They also seek stronger guarantees of reciprocity in exchange of scientific information. So strong in the opposition, informant said, that congressional approval of the resolution would be jeopardized unless objectives were set. George J. Slim Summerfield, 50, one of the movie's top comics and character actors, died Saturday night at his Hollywood home after suffering 2 strokes. Military police broke up a crowd of several thousand angry American enlisted men in Manila who were marching on the commanding general's headquarters Sunday in protest against the War Department's announced slowdown in demobilization. Other informal mass meetings of soldiers quickly formed at separated points in Manila. The men were urged by GI speakers to attend a general protest gathering Monday night at the City Hall. Half a dozen groups published mimeograph pamphlets bitterly attacking the War Department and Army brass hats and urging soldiers to complain to all of the several congressional committees, which are due here soon on various investigative missions. A 19-year-old private in the Michigan State Troops who had been wounded in the European theater walked into police headquarters in Detroit Saturday night and confessed he murdered Mrs. Gladys Marsden. William Dresden, Deputy Chief of Detectives, announced that Private Walter J. Blatter had confessed the murder of the 43-year-old divorcee whose body was found in the yard of the Rudderman School last Sunday. 2 members of the plane crew injured fatally and 6 others were hurt, one seriously, when a Pennsylvania Central Airlines plane overshot a runway at the municipal airport in Birmingham, Alabama, and crashed into a creek in murky water. Property damage mounted beyond the $1 million mark Sunday as authorities surveyed the devastation wrought by a tornado that struck 3 East Texas counties with stunning force. The known death toll stood at 24. Most of the 100 or more injured were expected to recover. Only a few reported in serious condition. All Japanese prisoners of war in the U.S. will have been shipped out by January 15th, and 4 months from now, the country will be free of German and Italian prisoners as well. The Japanese aren't going home immediately. Most of them will be detoured to Hawaii for assignment to labor battalions. Possible plant seizures by President Truman loomed today in the face of a mounting strike wave, which threatened to make more than 2 million workers idle from coast to coast by mid-January. The president reported to be considering taking over the meatpacking industry as a last resort to avoid a possible food famine resulting from the decision of unions in the industry to strike January 16th. He was weighing similar actions in the impending strike of 700,000 steel workers, 200,000 electrical workers, and an equal number of telephone employees. And those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Monday, January 7th, 1946. On your radio, the Screen Guild Players, The Lost Weekend, starring ray-milland and Jane Wyman, the conclusion of which you'll hear next on this Friday Classic Radio Theater.
America's founders knew power corrupts, and ultimate power corrupts ultimately, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's why they built in checks and balances to prevent any one group from seizing all power.
And that's why our president is elected by a college of electors to protect the rights of little states like Delaware and Wyoming against giants like New York and California. After all, our country is a republic, the United States of America, not the United State. Our states are independent sovereign powers who created the federal government, not the other way around.
And that's why all power ultimately lies in we the people and the states, not a central dictatorship of cronies. Did you know that? Thank God for the U.S. Constitution.
Find out more how our amazing Constitution and Bill of Rights protect us, the citizens, against power-crazed politicians in Washington. Help us take back America. Go to ouramericanrights.com. Brought to you by the American Media Council.
On Saturday's Classic Radio Theater, an episode of the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show from 76 years ago, January 8th, 1945. Actually, that's 77 years ago, isn't it? Guest Shirley Temple trying for a part in a movie that requires an older man to co-star. And doesn't that sound right up George's alley? That'll be coming up on our Saturday Classic Radio Theater, but let's conclude this episode of the Screen Guild Players. Horrifying story, isn't it? The Lost Weekend, starring ray-milland and Jane Wyman, from 76 years ago, January 7th, 1946.
And now, Act 2 of The Lost Weekend. The Burnham apartment. The living room. The portable typewriter on the desk. 2 shaking hands slip a sheet of paper in the machine and slowly, grimly begin to type.
The Bottle. A novel by Don Burnham. For Helen, with all my love. With all my love.
All right, Don. What now? Where do you go from here? How do you start? That first little sentence. Agony, isn't it? Huh? Maybe a cigarette would help. Right there on the table by the... Oh, sorry. I didn't notice that bottle, Don. That was from last night. Last night, that was great, wasn't it? You know, maybe that's just what you really need, a drink. Just one. Just one drink to get you started. No, not that bottle. That's empty, remember? You want the other one, the one in your head. That's right. It might be in the closet, Don. It's worth a look. Not there? Then how about the kitchen? You know, the top shelf, the place you always do stuff. No, must be in the living room. The bookcase. Don, back of those books. But it's got to be here. It's got to be somewhere. You had another bottle. You know you did. Where'd you put it? You're not crazy. Where'd you put that other bottle? Hold it. Look up. Right over your head. The light fixture, Don. That's where you... Wait a minute. The door. Sure, you gotta lock the front door first. And slip the safety catch on. That's it. Now no one can get in. No one, Don. You're all alone. You're all alone and it's growing dark. It's growing dark again. It's growing dark.
Stop it, Helen. Stop it. I'm all right. I just can't stalk. Stop it!
Sure, Don. Sure, you're all right. All you need is a drink. One drink this morning, you'll be fine all day. Tough luck, though. Bottle's empty. Any money? Not a dime. Nat got it yesterday. No credit either. No nothing. Unless you want to use that portable. Why not? Why don't you, Don? Why don't you give it to Ned? Why don't you get some good out of it? Now you're talking. Rip the paper out, slap on the lid, and let's get going. Sure, I know you're weak and the thing's heavy. But it's only to Nat's, just a block and a half. Come on, start walking. You need the drink, boy.
Nat.
Mr. Boynham, what's the matter?
Let me have one, Nat. I'm dying. Just one, please.
I thought you were home writing that book.
Oh, you tricked me. The same old dirty trick. Give me one, Nat. I'll pay you when I can. Just don't let me die here.
No credit, and you know it.
All right, so it's charity. I'm begging for you one, Nat. Just give me one.
Yeah, one. One's too many, and 100's not enough. Here.
Nat.
That's all.
Oh, please, I'll pay you. I'll let you have my typewriter.
I'm no writer. You're the writer. Now go on home. Go home. And you better take something to quiet yourself. You're heading straight for the DTs.
I'm not.
That's what they all say, until they start seeing the little animals.
Oh, shut up.
You know that stuff about pink elephants? That's the bunk. It's the little animals. Little tiny turkeys in straw hats. Midget monkeys coming through the keyholes. With one guy I knew, it used to be beetles. Beetles crawling all over him in the dark. That's when it comes, you know, in the dark.
Oh, stop it! Nat, please, just one. I'll die if you don't.
You'll die if I do. Here, $5. But drink it up somewhere else. I don't want that kind of money here.
Don, come on, guy. Wake up. That's the trouble, isn't it, huh? You always have to wake up. Sort of grayish out, Don. What do you think? Dawn or dusk? What day is this, you suppose? Saturday? Nah, couldn't be. You couldn't have finished 2 bottles that soon. Sure, you had 2 bottles. That gave you the money, remember? Good old Nat. Nice guy, but all wrong. All that stuff about the dark, the little animals. Not to you, Don. It couldn't happen to you. Why, it's almost dark now and you're okay. Sure, yeah, sure. What's that? That sound? Seems to be coming from the wall. Yeah, there it is. Strange. Right in the middle of the wall, a mouse. That's all it is. Wait, there's something else here. It's flying around. Watch yourself. Watch yourself, it's a bat. He's going after the mouse. He's got him, Don. He's got him. Look, there on the wall is blood. Blood.
Don, it's me. It's Helen.
No.
The woman downstairs phoned me. She promised she'd let me know when you came home. She heard you scream.
Go away.
Oh, silly, I came to help you. Come on, now get up. Put your hand on my shoulder. No, wait, we need some light.
No, Helen, no.
What's wrong, Don?
The wall, don't look.
What wall?
There, over there, the mouse in the bat, that hole in the wall.
There isn't any hole in the wall, look.
But I saw it, I tell
You had some kind of nightmare. Stop shaking, John. Everything will be all right. I'll stay right with you. You'll get some food and sleep.
Little animals. It's always the little animals. That's what he said.
Well, you're not making much sense.
What he said about the ending. It's like this. Or like that. Like this. Or like that.
Darling, what you need is a good night's sleep. Don, you awake yet? Come on, lazy bones, it's time to get up. I've got toast and coffee and scrambled eggs and... Don, did you hear me? Don, why don't you... Gone. He's not here, he's gone.
Yeah? Oh, good morning, miss.
Excuse me. Did someone come in here this morning to pawn... Yes, there it is on the rack. That leopard coat.
Huh?
I want it back. It's mine.
It's your coat.
It's all right. He had my permission. How much did you give him?
He didn't want any money. He wanted to swap it.
For what?
Something he hocked here a long time back.
What?
A gun.
Don.
Helen, how the devil did you get in?
I got the pass key from the janitor. The safety latch wasn't on.
What's the matter? Why are you looking about this way?
No reason. I just wanted to be sure I left everything right.
Well, I'd like to finish up a few things before Wick gets back. You'd better run along. And thank you.
Don, there was some whiskey left when I cleaned up last night.
Was there?
Would you like to know where I put the bottle?
No.
Don't you want a drink, Don?
No.
It's right here in the umbrella stand. Why don't you, Don?
I don't feel like a drink. Not now, I told you.
Just one. Here's a glass, please.
Say, what are you up to?
Drink it. You need it, Don. I want you to drink it. I'll get you some more. I'll get you all you want.
What kind of talk is that?
I will. I mean it. I'd rather have you drunk than dead.
Dead? Who wants to be dead?
Don't lie to me. You have a gun and bullets. If those bullets aren't in this drawer...
All right, they're not there. So what? This business is just a formality. Don Burnham is dead already. He died over this weekend.
That's not true.
It is. He died of moral anemia, of fear, of shame, of DTs.
That Don Burnham. And now you want to kill the other one?
What other one?
There were two Dons. You told me so yourself. Don Burnham the drunk and Don Burnham the writer. It's just the drunk who died, so the writer's free. No one to whisper anymore. No one to interfere.
Stop trying to stall me. It's too late, Helen. What do you expect, a miracle?
Yes, if I could only make you wait.
Who is it?
It's me, Mr. Boynham. I got something for you.
Come in, Nat. What is it?
The other night at my place, you forgot your typewriter. Thought I'd bring it up.
Thank you, Nat.
Writes real good. I oiled her up a little. I didn't oil her up so you could hock it.
I'll take it, Nat.
Oh, sure. Well, goodbye, Mr. Burnham. And, how's all them lilacs in Ohio?
Don, this is it. It happened. I didn't ask for a big miracle.
Helen, you're not serious.
Somebody is. Somebody somewhere sent this typewriter to you. Why? Because he means you to write.
Write what? I tried. Couldn't even find the first line.
Of course you couldn't. You couldn't write the beginning when you didn't know the ending.
The end is a question mark, Helen. Will be as long as I live.
Don't say that, Don.
Give me a Helen. That glass, I'll take it now.
Don, you dropped your cigarette in that...
Yes, Helen. There's a question mark after every story. Love, will it last? Success, does it bring happiness? Death, is it heaven or hell or sleep? All right, this strength of mine, such as it is, will it hold out? We'll try.
On behalf behalf of the Motion Picture Relief Fund, thank you, ray-milland, Jane Wyman, and Frank Phelan for your deeply moving performances. Which bring us quite fittingly to the Red Book Magazine Awards for 1945. As you all know, Red Book Magazine annually awards the Red Book Cup for what it deems the outstanding screen achievement of the year. And it is Lady Esther's annual custom to invite one of the previous year's winning cast to make the presentation on behalf of Red Book. Last year's winner, of course, was Going My Way. And here in person is Barry Fitzgerald.
Thank you very much. Well, I've just this to say. This is a beautiful cup, and Leo McCary, Bing Crosby, and I have valued having it for a year. Now it goes into other hands. And I'm sure that millions of people all over America will agree with Mr. Edwin Barmer, editor of Red Book, and Mr. Thornton Delahanty, its motion picture critic, that the cup is going to the proper people, the men behind The Lost Weekend. Jane, call the boys.
Come on, Charlie. Come on, Billy.
Go ahead, Ray. Introduce them.
Ladies and gentlemen, our two-in-one boss, who between them wrote, produced, and directed the picture, Mr. Charles Brackett and Mr. Billy Wilder.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an honor indeed. In accepting it, Mr. Wilder and I want to thank the people who made the picture possible. Charles Jackson for his brilliant novel, the Paramount front office for giving us the green light, you, Ray, and you, Jane, and the whole cast, John Seitz, the cameraman, Doane Harrison, the editor, Miklas Rocha for his magnificent music. Billy, is there anyone I've forgotten?
Yes. A word of thanks to the man who helped us with our research, to Mr. W.C. Fields, for graciously permitting us to peek at the x-rays of his kidney.
Now, wait a minute, Willie. Let's be serious. Speaking for all who worked in it, let me say that we are proud that a story like The Lost Weekend should ever have been brought to the screen. We think it marks a forward step towards Hollywood's real coming of age. And if the screen can approach all human problems with this same sort of frankness, this same sympathy, and this same desire to help, then Hollywood will have justified its place and its importance in our lives. And that's about all, except for all of us. Thanks to Red Book, thanks to Lady Esther, and good night.
From January 7th, 1946, the Screen Guild Players on Classic Radio Theater. Visit my webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, and contact me, classicradio.stream. I'm Wyatt Cox. Thanks for listening. Thank this station. Support the advertisers. Tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater on your favorite radio station.